Hey everybody,
What's up?
what's up, what's up? Hey Hugo.
Hey, I didn't want to interrupt the music, so I'm just gonna let it play.
Um, we were so excited, and everybody here has been so hyped for you to join us today.
Oh, it's
Um,
sick. Me too. I'm thrilled.
nice one. Thank you so much for being here. Andrea and Jameson here from the Coachella community team. I'm just going to do a quick intro to remind everybody about the ground rules, and then I'll pass over the mic to Jameson, who will host this chat with you. So, with
Sweet.
that said, wonderful. With that said, hi everyone. So stoked to have you here. Honestly, welcome to our first official artist AMA. Hugo, so excited that you get to be a part of that moment. Um, a quick note to remind you of how this works. First off, make sure that you've visited our server rules. This is a safe space for everyone to feel welcome and make new friends and connect with their favorite artists. So let's make sure we keep it friendly and chill in here. And then, in terms of the questions that you have for Hugo, as a reminder, we also have a text-based channel called Madeon AMA Chat. So you can submit your questions there. Josiah and Kelsey from our moderator team will be there to monitor all of your questions and pin the ones that are upvoted or they're selected for whatever reason. So make sure you keep it PG-13 in there. If you're too shy to join this call, then you can just submit your question and Jameson.
What's up? Hey, so I think it's just Jameson and I on there now. Um, so I'm not sure what happened. Uh, I'm not sure if people can hear me. If you can, what's up? I'm Madeon.
Hey,
Hey, Jameson, can you hear me?
yeah, I can hear you. Yeah, I'm not sure what happened to Andrea, but
Must have been disconnected. I'm trustful that everybody here is nice and respectful, and will make sure to make this a good time.
definitely, definitely. So where at in the world are you right now?
I'm in my studio in Los Angeles. Yeah, that's where I'm at. I just poured myself a little coffee and some water, and I'm ready to answer some questions.
Nice, nice. Yeah, let's get it going. So you've done a couple of these in the past, haven't you?
I've done written AMAs before. I don't believe I've ever done it in this format, like audio. That's interesting. That's a creative take on it. So should I just go check out that
Yeah, well,
question thread so I can pick some questions, perhaps? Where is it? It was that going to be Madeon AMA chat. Okay.
yeah, and then clicking on the thread channel.
Yes. Okay. I think I got it. Hi, everybody. So there was something about things being pinned, but I'm not seeing anything pinned yet.
If you click on the pin in the top right next to the notification setting and the hide member list, you can click on that and it'll pop up under pin messages.
Okay, got it. Okay, perfect. All right, I'm gonna take some of these questions now and get it rolling, warm myself up. Somebody says, question: the Coachella crowd is much different than the crowds for your Good Faith Forever shows. As you wrap up this leg of the Good Faith Forever tour, what is something you want to translate to Coachella? Is it an aura you want to keep, the message of the show? Are you excited to show a GFF to an audience that could be filled with people who don't exactly know you and your music? So yeah, playing festival sets and playing headline shows are quite different. At a headline show, everybody hopefully knows who you are, bought tickets, is already invested in the music, and at a festival show, you have a kind of the scale and the scope is wider. But yeah, you will have a mixed audience. I do find though that uniquely Coachella for me is a very special festival because this is my fourth time playing it and my fifth time being booked, I guess technically. So I have like a long history at Coachella, and I feel like at every stage of my career, I got to do a Coachella set and kind of show what I was about. From my first one 10 years ago to the adventure set that I did in 2015 to the shelter set I did with Porter on the main stage in 2017, and now to Good Faith Forever. And so I think that the Coachella audience is uniquely attuned to what I'm making, perhaps. So I feel especially excited about this show because of that history. But to answer your question, I feel like the show is designed to be compelling to people that are not necessarily Madeon fans. So my hope is that people watch this show and feel things they haven't felt at this show before. And one of the premises of the show specifically is like to give people images they have never seen before. And so that's my hope. I want people to randomly stumble upon the show, perhaps as well at the festival, and then leave the set feeling like they had never seen anything like that before. So that's what I'm trying to translate, and then hopefully then it's an invitation to digging deeper into the kind of Madeon universe. And but yeah, that's kind of so I I I wouldn't say that it's necessarily such a profoundly different crowd, but I do think there's a unique opportunity to like show what I'm about to people that wouldn't see it otherwise. Yeah, all right. Let me pick another one. Somebody said, "What's your thought process on making songs like Calm Yourself? It's very different from Pain No Mind in a charming way. How did you go about making it?" Um, it's not called Calm Yourself, by the way. You might be surprised to know that that whole sequence of the show is a fan thing, kind of a fun fact. But that whole sequence, like between, like right after All My Friends in the intro of the show, is actually called The Snap. So that's what it's called internally. I probably will never use that name openly, but yeah. So I took me a second to realize what you meant. Yeah. So it's that a section like this is uniquely designed for the show, you know, and for to fit into the kind of story and the structure of the show. And so it's really fun because it's the type of kind of minimal like um, efficient production that I probably would never have thought to make for an album. So I just when I make sections like this, I think about the song that comes before, the song that comes after, what visual elements have been revealed at that point. So it's very early in the set, so I try to hold back a lot of the ideas of the show so that there's always something a new place to go to. So yeah, that's kind of my thought process. Like, okay, how will this serve the greater kind of journey of the show? That's kind of how I approach making sections like that. And uniquely, like when you do music for the live stage, you can count on the fact there's going to be a lot of loud bass, which you can't guarantee when you make an album that might be listened to, you know, on AirPods, things like that, where, you know, like the bass response might not be great. So you can like anchor more of your mix around the emotion of feeling a big rumbling bass with the guarantee that it's going to be heard. So that's kind of a fun, like, extra layer that you can play with that you can't really do if you're just making an album. Okay, let's see. Let me pick some other stuff. Somebody's asked. I guess I'll ask this. What is your favorite anime? Some people may be surprised to learn that I don't actually watch anime very much at all. And except for movies. Like I'm deeply touched and moved by like Miyazaki movies and things like that. But I've actually never really watched any shows. And I think in part because as you know, I've been friends with and Porter Robinson for most of my life at this point, and we have a lot of similarities in our taste, but also sometimes I make sure to double down on aspects of my taste that I think is very different from his, or like to not really explore things that he's passionate about, so that I can make sure that we don't produce work that is too similar. So in a way, like I think subconsciously I've decided kind of not to explore that world as much because I feel like I wanna make sure that that my and Porter's taste are different enough so that we make different work. I think yeah. But I guess my favorite like anime movie would be The Wind Rises, and that's probably my favorite. By Miyazaki. Um, let's see. Da, 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 da. Somebody's asking question in Hypermania when the diskette shows up, why do you start running? Is there a deeper meaning or are you just afraid of diskette's sheer power? I think I'm trying to communicate the energy I'm being given. I don't think I'm escaping from it. It's more that I'm like powerful. In fact, when I perform this section of the show, I usually scream. And it's part of the performance. Obviously, you cannot hear me scream because it's loud, but yeah, I'm actually when that part comes on, I actually usually like start running and belt out and just and for me, I really feel that section really deeply, and it's meant to kind of symbolize the kind of the yeah that power that I'm inspired by. Let's see. There's a lot of really deep, like, lore questions, so I feel like this is a pretty in-depth conversation, which is fun. I'm going to continue to go through the pinned messages. Somebody's asking, super excited to see the live stream of GFF. As you know, a lot of us are passionate about the lore and good faith, and I was wondering, have you ever thought about doing a short film or music video that contains the lore? I am trying to connect the dots a little bit better of the good faith universe. And one of the things that I feel like I have the most to improve upon, I think, with upcoming releases is like music videos. I haven't feel like I've made any music video yet that completely captured what I was going for with good faith, or I hope that I get another shot at it soon. Because it's obviously a very visual universe, and yet I don't feel like I've completely captured it in that format. So, yeah, I think I wanna do more there. I don't want to spoil anything, but I'm exploring ideas. Let's say. Let's see. I'm still scrolling. Oh, there's new ones at the top. Okay. Any talks about bringing good faith to Red Rocks? Nothing's announced, but that would be a dream. I'll just say that I would really like to do that. So now it's up to the team to figure out if that's doable. But that would be definitely a dream. So, everybody, if you want it to happen, everybody in the Denver area, continue to spread the love, and and we'll get there. Would you consider working on a movie score similar to how Daft Punk worked on the one for Tron Legacy? Yeah, but I wanted to do it at the right time. I'm always concerned about kind of I have so much in my heart that I want to share and so much I want to create, but I want to do it in the right order or at the right time. And I'm such a lover of like pop music and shows that are fronted by a singer or an artist that tells their story directly. And I think that's something that sometimes is easier to express with the kind of like candor of youth. I think it's easier to do like a big, ambitious like pop project in your 20s rather than in your 50s. I mean, you can still totally do it, but I feel like just feels like the time for doing this part of my career is now. And then maybe in a few years I'll have different desires and I'll want to have a life that maybe involves less touring, and then would be a great time to start considering doing like composition and scoring and things like that. So I feel like I would want to get there eventually, but I want to do things at the right time. Let's see. Tell us a horror story from a time you were on tour. On the most recent Good Faith Forever tour, I was playing at a Masonic temple in Cleveland, and it was this massive, giant building. And after the show, we were asked. We were offered a tour, which I did not join. But a little bit later, I ended up like snooping around with my team and trying to open some secret doors, and we found some crazy relics. We found literal like newspapers from over 100 years ago. We found crazy Masonic robes and swords and things like that, and just kind of discovered hidden rooms. And I guess it's not particularly scary, but there wasn't the feel of a presence. I did feel like at any corner I might be met with a kind of ghostly presence. So yeah, that comes to mind. Somebody's asking me, if you have an endless budget and you can play whatever show you wanted, how would you go about it? Yeah, I have thoughts. I feel, to be honest, to loop it back into Coachella, what's great about doing Coachella is that the scope and scale of that festival and those stages is so immense and beyond what I could do if it was just my own tour. So in a way, like the Coachella show I'm about to perform next week is honestly pretty close to my dream show. Yeah, I feel like often I don't feel very constrained by budget. I feel always constrained by. I feel like I want my show to be about the ideas. I feel like the most memorable moments of the show are great ideas rather than display of budget. I'm not trying to compete with people on having the most lasers or the most fireworks or whatever. I just want it to be the best ideas, the ideas that stick with you, the images you've never seen before. And so yes, I always feel like I'm more anxious about continuing to come up with ideas I'm passionate about rather than necessarily like the constraint of budget. But Coachella is going to be great because it's going to be all those ideas at their widest, biggest, like most, uncompromised scale yet. So yeah. What is one artist you're honored to be playing the same event as? I mean, there's so many artists on this lineup at Coachella that I'm honored to be in the presence of, and I'm excited to catch the show off. So yeah, so pretty much almost over half of the lineup I'm like deeply fuck with, to be honest. So I mean, I love Stromae to death, L'Impératrice, I'm a big Weekend fan, so I'm thrilled about that. I love Harry Styles. I can't wait to see that. I love Billie Eilish. So yeah, and specifically, like sometimes I'm like, for example, I'm playing Wamu in Seattle this Friday, and I'm honored to be playing the same venue that like Daft Punk played when they showed up in Seattle like 15 years ago. It's crazy to me like that I get to play the same stage. And similarly with Coachella, it's like, oh, it's crazy that I get to play at the same festival as my heroes, and yeah, it's humbling and cool. So. Somebody's asked, I'm very intrigued by your drum making process. Can you expand on that a little, especially the acoustic layers and stuff? Yeah, so I think with every album and era, I try to create a palette. It's kind of like being a painter and picking your colors. And I knew I wanted a lot of humanity and good faith, so I recorded choirs and things like that. And so acoustic drums were a natural fit. I recorded most of the drums of Good Faith in one day in Norway. I had rented this beautiful studio by the ocean, and they had a drum kit laying around that I kind of haphazardly set up and mic'd, and I don't know how to mic a drum set properly, but I tried my best. Recording it into like this like nice SSL console that was saturating but sounded great, and I just had my friend who was there to shoot videos just kind of like randomly drum about, because I guess he used to be a drummer when he was a kid, and I just would like dictate like, can you do a thing that's like boom, and then he would try to match whatever I was saying, and then I get into record random stuff for like 4 or 5 hours, and then I spend days combing through it, and then I would like merge all the takes together, chop them up, etc., find the interesting ones, the little mistake, and then turn that into like a library of loops and fills and elements, and then that became like the basis for the sound throughout the entire album. Like a song like Mania, apart from like a digital kick layer, is actually like all acoustic, and it's cool because it sounds like a big like dance song, but it's actually like all an acoustic kit that is original recordings. So it's fun because even today, like if I wanted to create that sound again, I wouldn't know where to start, because that whole sound and texture was an accident, was born from me not really knowing how to properly record drums and doing it wrong in a way that I think sounded compelling. So yeah, that was the process there. What are some upcoming artists in our projects that have impacted you in some way or another that you would like to shed some light on? Yeah, let me pull up my playlist. I think I just literally this morning, I was on my way to the seamstress. I discovered this record, Have You Seen Her, by this artist called Kid Bloom, that I thought sounded awesome. There's this production by Oliver for this artist Lado called Big Energy that sounds awesome, that I really, really love. There's lately I've been listening to Sigrid. It Gets Dark is a great record. Toro y Moi has been putting out some great releases lately. Vigin, everything. I don't know how to pronounce that, but Vegyn. Vegin. You tell me, but I love that. I love that record Data Mush by Young Jake as well. Ocean, one of the animators for the show, put me onto that. So Jimmy Stack, is sick, and I've been super into Caroline Polachek for a while too. So Remy Wolf also, like some great records. So those are some stuff I'm like into right now that you should check out. Okay, somebody's saying, hi, my name is Joseph, and I saw you live in Kansas City. I've been trying to make music of my own, and you've been a huge inspiration. Thank you. What kind of advice can you give for beginners? The biggest issue I've been facing is coming up with original synth melodies. Yeah, I mean, writing melodies and things like that is a skill that you acquire, but it's like it's like building a muscle. I think you just do it a lot. You do it every day, and you listen to a lot of things, and you try to replay stuff you've heard, and then eventually, like, your brain will subconsciously pick up on patterns and things that and techniques, and you'll develop kind of your own method for it. I don't think there's any real traditional academic strategy to doing it other than just messing around and every day try to write like 3 synth melody every day, and even if they're bad, it doesn't matter. Eventually you'll stumble upon something good, and then another one, and you'll start to find similarities between things that work, and your brain will just pick up on those patterns, and in no time you'll find that you've improved. So yeah, I think it's fun to like discover and like build a skill. So just don't be intimidated, you know, and you know, and the truly great melodies are always a miracle, you know. So your favorite songs from your favorite artists that have insane melodies, trust me, those artists also don't know how they wrote that. It's like a miracle. It's a gift from God. Sometimes you just have something given to you, and nobody really knows how it was made. And so, but I think it's always the product of you building that skill. So if you just like write 3 random melodies every day and try to make them a little bit better than the day before, eventually you're gonna heighten your chances of like writing something truly exceptional. And you just gotta let yourself, you know, be a vessel for that. Somebody's asking, have you ever thought about expanding your apparel horizons to a full non-Madeon related clothing brand? Um, Honestly, yeah. Like I like, yeah, I've thought about it. I want to do my homework though. So, you know, I've been trying to educate myself over the past little while. Because if I do something like that, I would want it to be thoughtful, you know, and not just like a random logo on a random hoodie. You know, I would want to do something that has, you know, like a really matured vision. So I've spent a little bit of time you know, like trying to study and watching a lot of references, and I've watched like hundreds of like runway shows and been to like fabric stores and things like that. Just and I don't have any plans right now, but it just seems like an area that I want to understand a little bit better. And right now it's materializing and trying to make my merch better and learning more about things. But I feel like eventually I'll want to articulate the vision in a way that's more substantial, and yeah, not solely an expansion of Madeon. So yeah, I'm just trying to, you know, learn and you know, communicate with more, you know, continue to create connections with people that you know, could contribute. So yeah, it's something I think about. I don't know if I'll ever do it, but I'm interested in that. I think it's an interesting creative avenue. It's just, you just got to be humble, and it's real work. You know, people and artists that just try to like start a brand, like, and they just don't really have respect for what they're trying to make. I think it's rarely super compelling. So that's, yeah. Um, do you see yourself collaborating more with other vocalists on your next project? Will you continue focusing on your own vocals going forward? I I don't want to say anything about any future post good faith thing, because I want to keep my full freedom to decide. And so I try to be very evasive so that there's no expectations and I can feel free to create what I want to create next. But I'm finding a lot of joy in writing and singing myself, you know, but I do also adore what other vocals can bring to my universe. So I like songs that combine both, like the Earth Gang remix of No Fear No More, where like I sing the choruses and they sing like rap verses that sound awesome, and then they sing, and then, or like Miracle, where I sing the kind of intro, and then the outro is sung by Callie Day, who's an incredible gospel singer. And so I think the combination of like my personality and like me trying to tell my own story directly, combined with you know, other people's like unique voices is really attractive to me. So yeah, that's kind of what I'll say. Uh, mm, mm, mm. Let me see. Okay, I closed the thing. Okay, let me go back to the thread and find more questions. Thanks, you guys. It's all very thoughtful questions, and it's really fun. Let's see. I'm only seeing the pinned messages, so if you are being silly, I probably am not seeing it. But I'm gonna scroll through the actual conversation right now and see what silly things people are saying. Somebody's asking, can you explain your vocal chain and your big specs chain? No. I can
Hey Hugo, did you want to bring some people up from
to
the audience,
understand.
or do you want to keep doing the voice text?
Oh shit. Sorry. So somebody said something.
Oh yeah, I was asking if you wanted to bring up some people to ask some questions now.
Oh yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I forgot we can do that. Absolutely.
cool.
I'll let you pick people.
Cool. Let's see here.
Oh my god, hello.
What's
Hi,
up?
hi.
Oh my god, I can't believe I got picked. Thank you so much for letting me speak. Hi Madeon. Um, I'm
Hi,
Ari. I
nice to
saw
meet
you.
you.
Nice to meet you too. I saw you in Brooklyn in 2019, and it was
Mm-hmm.
honestly like one of the greatest shows I've ever been to. It was so fucking awesome.
Thank
So
you.
one of my questions was, I know that you're a big Daft Punk fan, and I am also a very big Daft Punk fan, and I just wanted to know, like, what was like their inspiration for you, and how do you like incorporate their style into your music and stuff like that? Like, yeah.
Yeah, I am religiously devoted to Daft Punk. I'm not just a fan. Like it's honestly one of the guiding components of my life. It's kind of crazy. And I think I can when I think back about their biggest contribution to my life, I think it's just kind of that singular first original memory of going through TV channels when I was 10 years old and seeing a documentary about them on MTV France. It was a 40-minute documentary kind of summing up their career up to that point to celebrate the release of Human After All at the time. And so my first introduction to Daft Punk was in the context of their whole artistic output, which included the movie and the videos and the merch they didn't really have a live show back then. It was before the a live show, but it showed all of those different aspects of their career, and I just thought that was so fascinating how they seem to have created a whole universe beyond just like making music. I found that so inspirational, and so I think that's the thing is that Daft Punk made me realize that a music project can sometimes be the nucleus for um a multi art form expression, and I find that everything that makes my heart sing I try to funnel into Madeon in one way or another, from things that are obvious like music and graphic design and animation to even aspects that I never expected to see connect with it, like my love of like magic, like it seems so unrelated, and yet now certain things that I've learned doing magic tricks found their way into the show and the way that I perform. So I that's what Daft Punk taught me, is that like you can put so much of yourself into a project and it's unlimited, and I think they've invented that model. They've also like there's something about how uncompromising they are that is very inspiring. I think their career is literally perfect. I don't think there's really any bad mark on it, pretty much. And so I often ask myself, what would Daft Punk do? And I think having that guiding light for something that is both uncompromising and very cool and very pop and very successful, but also very intimate. Like it's all of them. I feel like they've done it like the way that every artist dreams of. And so I think having that example for perfect, well-rounded career is also very inspiring. So yeah, those are things that comes to mind. And then there's more like incidental things, certain sounds, certain textures, certain chords that their music taught me, obviously. But I think those kind of macro contributions, I think, are the most meaningful ones.
Thank you so much. It is such an honor to be able to talk to you.
Likewise, thank you so much for your question. Yeah, we can do somebody else. I'll let you pick. Hey, what's up?
Oh my god. Oh wait. Oh my god. Hi.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing good. Sorry for this. It was so unexpected to be here.
I feel
So
you.
I've been a big fan of you since Adventure Deluxe, right?
Hmm.
All right. So I have like two questions that I want to ask you.
Good.
So first question is, since you had like a big discography, yeah, big song collections with many people. I want to know what was your favorite collaborations in your song list?
Yeah, I think all of them were great. Maybe my favorite is actually one that's not on a Madeon record. It's my work with Lady Gaga. I think working with her was very influential and inspiring, and she she really touched me and inspired me. So that was really meaningful, I think, for me. And then out of the collaborators that actually appeared on Madeon records, I'd say, I don't know, I don't want to rank, but like they I think one of my fondest memories just when I got the vocals for Pain of Mine from Michael from Passion Pit. And I just adored it. I adored what he did with the song, and every other vocals from my discography I was like in the room writing with people. And the only one where I just got sent something was for Pain of Mine, and so pressing play on that felt pretty magical. I remember being so overwhelmed with my love for these melodies. So yeah, those would be kind of top memories.
My next question. So I've seen with your Good Faith Forever shows that Young Bae was in some of the shows. So I really want to know how was Young Bae like in your experience?
He was dope. I love it. I love his music, and we got along great. It's always I always love, building kind of having openers on tours like for multiple shows and just getting to build a relationship and so I felt like it was a perfect fit. So I thought it was super fun, super respectful and pro. And I think the only thing my only regret is that this last tour, I was so constantly working on the show that I didn't really have a lot of time to make a lot of memories outside of the shows themselves, like, go outside or like have dinners or have, play. I was, from the moment I woke up to show, I would be like tweaking visuals or like working on the Coachella things or just there was always something to do. So I didn't get to so I don't have any like crazy cool anecdote or anything. But no, it was a blast, and he's actually coming for this Friday show in Seattle there, so it's gonna be our last show together on this run. So I'm emotional, and I'm grateful he joined us. He killed it.
All right, so one more question, and that would be all for me. My next question would be, okay, so if you had like anyone
Hearing
from
anything.
the Coachella, if you had anyone from the Coachella lineup that you want to collab or have like a certain remix with, who would it be?
Damn, I would like to do a song with I would love to do a song with all of the headliners, honestly. Like I would love to do a song with The Weeknd. I would love to do a song with Harry Styles. I would love to do a song with Stromae, actually would be a big one. I would love to do a song with Stromae. Yeah, I think those kind of would come to mind for sure.
All right, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Hi,
Hi.
and now we got Rose Shrimp.
Hi. I'm Rose of Madeon News, one of the 5 mods. I'm very
Hey, what's
grateful.
up? Thank you for your work.
Thank you. I'm actually a pretty new fan, so it's been weird going from like not knowing a damn thing about what's going on to being like one of the people who's like transcribing all of the lore stuff that's in the live shows and stuff. Which, speaking of which, the codex has been really helpful for like actually figuring out what is meant to be going on with it. But there's a specific thing that has been bothering us for quite some time, which is Happy Humans. What's the deal with that? Is that like one of the fake companies like Imperial Studio and Daedalus Productions, or is that something else entirely?
Yeah, so Happy Humans and the way that it's been portrayed in visuals is part of the intermediary lore. So it's on the same level as Imperial Studio and DrumX3 and things like that. So it's not a part of the mythology level directly, although it is referencing something from the mythology. So it's part of that intermediary lore.
Can we get any kind of hint as to what that is?
Yeah, it's meant to be a little bit of dangerous, optimistic cult, and that is somewhat modern. Yeah, that I'm trying to. I think it's trying to capture a little bit of the same tension of happy danger as the lyrics of Be Fine. I'll let you try to entangle that. That'll be my riddle.
Yeah, that's a connection that I kind of made in my head, but I never could really like fully figure out. Thank you for finally clarifying that. That's insane. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
All right, and now we have Nathan Lambert.
Hi, Madeon. This is beyond insane that I'm talking to you right now. So I have a few short questions I'm hoping that you might be able to clarify. So first of all, is that this question is kind of for the people, is that will we ever be able to see a Good Faith Forever live album or like a recording for the full show for people that won't be able to watch it and for the people that was able to watch it, like for them to like relive the moment? Like, is there?
y- yeah, I don't want to make any promises. I'm always thinking about things like that, but yeah. So I think your next opportunity to see the show is going to be the Coachella stream. But
Mhm.
I am considering and have been experimenting with some other things, and I don't want to promise anything until I know for sure, but stay tuned. As you know, I care about the show a lot and I want it to have a sense of permanence, so eventually.
Sounds good. I have two short questions that I'm hoping to ask as well. So I love your fashion sense. Like it might not be my own fashion sense, but like whenever I see your outfit, it's just always like inspiring to me. They're always inspiring.
That's so
Is
nice.
there is there any like fashion icon or like people that you look like kind of like look for inspiration whenever you go for like an outfit for a show or like just day to day life kind of stuff?
Yeah, I don't know, it's something I feel very like I'm well aware of my ignorance, in that world. I know people that are like so detailed and have such an encyclopedic knowledge of fashion. So I don't want to be prescriptive. I feel like that would be inappropriate. But like, yeah, I feel like I just try to, um, like, yeah, just think about my body and then what I'm drawn to, and I think it's kind of the same process as anything else creatively, really, where I always look at things and then if I like it, I try to make sure I understand why. I try to emit like an hypothesis as to why do I like it, and then if I don't like it, I try to understand why so I can learn something from it. And so over time, you start realizing uh, coherent elements of your sense, like and obviously with fashion specifically, it ebbs and flows over time. So like right now, I've noticed like, oh hey, I like silhouettes that have like where the with pants that kind of rise a little bit higher, than more like waist high. I think it's like makes more sense with my silhouette, or certain patterns, certain textures. And so I just yeah, I guess I try to expose myself to a lot of things and then ask myself, try to understand my own taste and my own intuition and let it evolve. um yeah, I think that's kind of the strategy there. And then I try to like combine things from different universes. Like I think it's fun to have um like a thrifted jacket that I found for nothing, and then pants that are maybe a little bit more high end, and then like shoes that are typically French, or things like that that just come from different aspects of my life and that add up to something that's true to my own like story. So that's kind of always a good thing, is to kind of look kind of inwards to your own story, and try to like combine those things. Yeah, I hope that helps. That makes sense.
Nice. And now what is it? You Daninus? How do you say your name? Hmm. Hi, Skin Flower.
Hello.
Hey,
I don't know if anybody.
I'm not hearing anything right now.
Oh, hello.
Hello.
Yeah. Oh my God, I can't believe this. I'm shaking right now.
It's okay.
All right, so I'm gonna go slowly so I don't, freak out. First of all, salut Madeon. We are from Canada.
Salut.
Oh, yo, I'm like shaking right now. I can't believe it because I wanted to like um give like some shout out to the French people and the. I'm actually from Canada in Quebec, so yeah, I was just out here and I was wondering what exactly inspired you to make like the entire lore of Good Fit Forever. It's like I saw the original version back in Montreal like 2 years ago, I think, and I'm still tripping right now. Like I'm so curious about what was the inspiration, like the ideas behind.
Yeah. So good faith overall as an era is like kind of a bigger overarching personal theme about like kind of a personal kind of fundamental story of mine, I suppose, and something that I just kind of want to share in ways that are obfuscated almost. And so a lot of the lyrics and the album and the lore and it all's trying to tell the same story and explore the same concerns in ways that are either more whimsical and fictional, and in ways that are sometimes a little bit more literal. But I think the inspiration, yeah, is like that kind of part of my life and kind of what happened in 2018 onwards, and try to kind of tell an intimate stories in ways that allow people to project their own experiences onto, So that's kind of what it is.
That is pretty inspiring. I actually adore the idea. One quick question, and I'm out. I still shaking right now. It's like, so the community. We've been like very very like searching for like all the clues and stuff for the like hidden lore, and we've been curious about like the companies and stuff. So what would be like the idea between augment reality, celebrate reality, and I forgot what was the last one. Is it like the three separate layers of like good faith, like the live shows, the merch, and like the music as a whole?
Yeah, I mean, I've explained that it's like kind of three layers to the story of Good Faith. There's kind of the reality and what the personal story is, and then there's kind of this deeper, like the mythology and the mythological level that has a coherent kind of fictional universe with its own story, and then this kind of the in between interface between the two with another set of entities, and so. Which, and the idea is that the companies, as you see them in the intermediary level of the lore, are in their universe. The mythology exists as a myth, and so they take their names in inspiration to that myth, if that makes sense. So yeah, that's kind of the connection between those levels. So the show, when you see the show is put together by the companies and is about the mythology. It makes sense to me. Sometimes it's funny because it's something I never wanted to like explicitate too clearly. But I guess now I feel more ready to try to give a little bit of context. But it all kind of tells the same story in various degree of proximity to reality.
Very cool. Now we have Wonder RX Jr.
Yeah, that's right. Hey, Hugo.
Hey.
So my name's Trevor. I interviewed you back in October for WIUX, if you remember that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so back then you were touring version 3 of Good Faith Live, and it didn't have this new song in the encore. So I was wondering how the ideas for this track happened and how the ideas for the visuals and the lift came about.
Yeah, so that's the big addition of V4 of the show, is the encore and the lift sequence for the song Gonna Be Good. It started with Coachella, actually. We started exploring what we wanted to do around Coachella many months ago, and there was a bit of a misunderstanding where my production manager kind of jokingly mentioned a lift, and what he meant was raising my whole booth and making it float somehow. And I thought he meant just lifting me up. And I started thinking like, oh, that's not going to look good, because whatever device we use to raise me is going to be silhouetted against the screen. You're going to see it. And thus, and I was imagining like scissor lift, which I've kind of this kind of, how do you say, scaffolding look, and I didn't want a scaffolding look in front of the screen, ruining the ambience. So, but then I started asking myself a question, like, what if I hid the lift? What if the content was designed to obscure the lift and make it basically invisible? And so the idea of like the cliff and the mountains and things like that kind of emerged. And so the architects and I started like working on that premise, and kind of we kind of bet the house on it working, because nobody had ever done something quite like this before that I know of. And so I kind of took a bet that the lighting conditions would make it work, and that there wouldn't be enough reflection for the lift to be visible, and that in person you wouldn't be able to see it. And it worked out. Like the illusion worked out, but it was a big bet because we were not really able to try it. So yeah, so that was the kind of the initial inspiration for the production element of it was kind of a kind of a technical question of like, how can I elevate myself up in the air without revealing what device kind of is putting me up there, whilst and then what kind of whimsical and magical environment can I create that meets this technical challenge. So it started with that, and then I started thinking about what song would make sense there. And there's this. I'll tell you the story of the song when we get around to it. So I don't want to say too much quite yet. So I'll say more about the song itself and its meaning and why it made sense for this section then. But yeah. So for now, I'll just kind of leave it at that. But I just felt really really right, and when it all came together, I felt extremely happy and relieved and excited. So yeah, and all I'll say is that the Coachella version of this is going to be a whole other level. Like, it's because the idea was originally thought of for Coachella. I'll just say that the Coachella version is the real version. Like, it's gonna be pretty great. Hopefully, if all goes well. So yeah, so I just wanted to yeah, that's what I'll say.
Hi. Oh my
What's
God,
up?
I can't believe I'm talking to you. I'm shaking. Um, my name is Saldu, and I'm from Buenos Aires, Argentina. And I wanted to start off by saying that I'm a big fan since I was 9 years old,
Whoa, that's so long
and
ago.
I'm going to turn 18 now. So I grew up
Wow.
with your music basically, and you helped me a
Thank
lot. So I
you.
wanted to thank you for that. Um, so I have two questions. My question is, what do you like to do outside of music that contributes to your musicality, like a hobby, an activity, or something that you turn to in order to improve your creativity? And my other question was that if you thought of touring in Latin America or South America.
So with regards to touring, I really want to, and we had plans before COVID that unfortunately got scrapped. So we are trying to make it happen again. It's always a challenge because it's especially with the live show, it's expensive to bring it, so it's really difficult to kind of make all of the logistical pieces fit. But we really want to. I would love to play Argentina. I would love to play Brazil. There's so many places that we need to hit with this show all around the world, and we're trying to make it happen. So yeah, and then with regards to your first question, I kind of, ever since I was like a young kid, the way that I engage with art is to think of it like as a creator, and I kind of see everything as raw material to turn into like art things. So I kind of see everything in my life as a potential like starting point for something. Concretely though, like some of my current like interests and hobbies include like contemporary art, and I like to listen to albums as I play chess sometimes. I think that's relaxing. I I play games sometimes, but not a lot. Mostly Nintendo games, which I love, and I get a lot of inspiration from. I yeah, like those are kind of like key things. And then sometimes I have like other creative endeavors that I do kind of as like a phase. Like I at some point in the pandemic I was like painting for a little bit and things like that, and I find that some of those crafts kind of find their way into the music eventually. So yeah, those are some of the stuff.
Thank you so much. It's such an amazing thing to talk to you. Thank you.
Likewise, I'm glad to meet you. Thank you.
Hello? Can everybody hear me?
Yeah.
Hi, Hugo. Woo. Hi. I've been a fan since Raise Your Weapon, and I've seen you in Philadelphia a few times. And this is really cool. I just wanted to ask you, as someone who's also grown up with your music and grown as an artist myself over the years, I'm currently kind of struggling with my own confidence and putting my own work out there. And I just wanted to know, like, how do you bolster yourself when you're going through a rough time and, put it out there and just kind of be an artist, I guess.
Yeah, I think it's never a solved problem. I think at every level you're gonna have some of these challenges.
Mhm.
So I empathize with it immensely. I know it can be really difficult, and there's always like big, large moments of doubts, and I think they are very frequent for me, to be honest. So I totally get what you mean. It's bittersweet, but I guess it's part of what keeps it magical. So I think I think in recent years I've realized been through the pattern and the cycle often enough that I know that it's like the weather basically. Like sometimes it's a rainy day and it's gonna pass. There's just nothing to do but wait out the rainy day, and no amount of like trying to running against running away from it, or no amount of trying to defy it is going to make the rain not rain. So you just kind of sometimes have to welcome that and just wait for it to pass and the lights to shine through. So I try to be a little bit more peaceful about it, but yeah, I understand. I think, and,
Yeah, I
and
agree.
I'm really, yeah, and I'm really finding it difficult sometimes to like complete music and like call it finished and things like that. And I wish I had great answers for you. You know, like I think what helps for me is to um try to make sure that I never let myself doubt the legitimacy of my legitimacy as an artist. You know, like always think that it's I'm legitimate in making art, and I'm always trying to tell myself that I'm good, even if I feel like the work I'm doing is not good. I'm trying to be like, hey, like maybe this is not living up to what I think, but I try to always make sure to maintain, and sometimes a little artificially, but my confidence in my own personal kind of ability, and be like, hey, like just because it's bad today doesn't mean that I'm bad. So I try to make sure to like tell myself that, and separate, you know, my frustrations with a given work with my identity. And I think that makes it a little bit easier. So that would be my advice.
Thank you so much. That's fantastic. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Hello? Can you guys hear me?
Hey. Yeah.
Hi! First things first, nice to meet you. I'm super excited to be talking to you in
Likewise.
this AMA. Like, I hope that like my cellular data can be good, because literally my power just went out.
Oh no.
Um, but anyways, I hope that like y'all can hear me easily and everything. I was really intrigued about the clothing style of the Imperials and Borealis, and the gesture like in the visuals of Good Faith in a whole. And I was wondering, like, how did you get to pick that style for them with the
Hey,
masks
sorry.
and everything?
Hey, sorry to interrupt. You cut. Hey, I cut out for a few seconds after you said Borealis. Can you repeat the question? Is that okay?
Oh, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can. Yeah.
Okay, so yeah. My question is that how did you pick the style for the Imperials and Borealis and all of that? And how did you decide that your outfit for Good Faith Forever was gonna be different than theirs?
Yeah. So the the outfits for the Imperials is actually the first piece that we created for the show. And so because like before we started really editing any of the content, right? So that came first. It's all live action, so it exists. Like I have those costumes in my house right now. They're real. It's not 3D. So I worked with a costume designer, La Rox in LA, and so we had a number of references and like practical concerns, and also like I wanted it to feel a little bit timeless and not quite ancient, not quite futuristic, not quite present. So there was a lot of those kind of criterias. And yeah, we just did a bunch of back and forth and landed on it. One of the crazy breakthrough though was the masks that they wear. Those were actually created on the day of the shoot. They were originally going to have like reflective kind of mirror masks, and we found that that did not work at all because you could see the camera in the reflection. So we ended up making those kind of oddly shaped masks out of kind of like a matte, but still, I mean, kind of shiny but not reflective, very diffuse type of like gray silver material, and that looked perfect because it reads kind of like as metallic, but it doesn't actually reflect anything. And so the one of our production assistant, they just kind of cut out that shape, and I loved the shape so much, and so it became an integral part of the look of the Imperials, and that's completely incidental to us just kind of coming up with it on the day. So that was an interesting thing. And then as we created more characters later on with for like the song Borealis and things like that, we took inspiration from what we had created and expanded upon it. As far as my costuming, it's still something I'm trying to figure out completely. And actually this morning I was doing like a feeding for the Coachella version of the costume, which is new, and I think hopefully if it all goes well, much better. So we'll see how that works out. But yeah, I think that I was watching a lot of footage from Good Faith 2019, and I felt like there was a real disconnect between my silhouette in front of the screen wearing kind of normal street clothes and the characters and the visuals, and I felt like that prevented the show from completely blending together in the way that I wanted, and so I just took inspiration from the shapes and the designs from the Imperials and used that as a bit of a starting point to kind of create silhouettes with my friend and stylist Drew for the show. So I wanted it to like evoke like it comes from the same universe, but for me to not be to still have an element of differentiation. And for me, there's also like two acts to the show. You know, there's like the first half where my look is more casual. It's still all like custom and design and stuff, but it's meant to feel more connected to reality. And as the show progressed, I kind of start becoming more of a character, and I kind of start playing the role of the prince. And so there's a bit of a kind of costume change and everything that kind of illustrates that. And so that from that point of the show on, it feels more like theater, and I'm almost like playing that character of the prince. And so you can kind of see my transformation in the show, and so as I kind of get more and more drawn to the universe behind me. So that's kind of the idea structurally with the show. You're muted, by the way.
Oh, hello. You hear me?
Hey, what's up?
Hello. Oh my god. I'd like to say I'm like a huge fan. I got into your like music recently because I was playing. People have made like custom songs of custom levels on Beat Saber from some of your songs, and like I'm like pretty sure I pulled a bunch of muscles just dancing real hard to all.
That's awesome. I mean, I'm not
like. Oh, sorry. Go on. Oh, did you say something?
Oh no, I was just saying. I'm glad you had fun, and I've never played Beat Saber, but it looks really fun.
Yeah. No, but to get on to my question was that because obviously I had like a lot of fun playing those levels, and obviously I've gone listen to your music now, and like I'm really really big into it. Like Beings is on repeat. That's like one of my personal favorites. I love that song. But my question is like I was wondering if you'd ever consider like collaborating with any like rhythm games, kind of like Beat Saber or anything like that.
Yeah,
Kind
I'd
of
love
make like
that.
a song
I'd
pack.
love that so much, man. I love Guitar Hero, specifically Guitar Hero Live, which is the one that nobody played. The last Guitar Hero game, the one that's all live action. And I actually got a license deal to put Pain of Mind in there, and it just never came out. I never added it, so I was so sad because I was so looking forward to it. So I love Rock Band and Guitar Hero and things like that. So I would love to be involved in things of that nature, to be honest. So yeah, I hope the opportunity comes around. Like I would definitely do it. I would love to see that.
Thank you.
And I should try Beat Saber sometime. Everybody raves about it. I really need to.
Yeah, no, it's super fun. Anyway, thank you very much. It was awesome.
Thank you. Hey.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, hey, huge fan. So I remember a couple of years ago here in LA, Robbie from Louis the Child, he was throwing a little show for his birthday party, and yeah, I remember you were there. We shook hands, and it was really fun. And I think that was around the time that you moved to LA. So I just wanted to ask, like, since moving, how have things kind of like changed for you? Like, have things changed, like, perspective-wise, creativity-wise?
Yeah, I mean, I really wanted to move to America to complete the album Good Faith because the album was very inspired by my experiences visiting and touring the US, and whereas like making adventure was something that felt almost like a fantasy that I dreamt up from my parents' house. I wanted to have make my own memories and have my own adult life somewhere else, and moving to America was something I really wanted to try. So yeah, I really like living in Los Angeles, to be honest. I think I'm really sensitive to weather, and the sun does a lot for my well-being. So that's a big part of it. I like the proximity to artists and creation, even though I don't really collaborate that often or engage with that very much. I still like knowing it's around me and being surrounded by people doing stuff. So yeah, I think it's helped or changed the course of the way that I approach music in some ways, but at the core it's still kind of the same thing. Like even my studio, the way it's set up in my house in LA is very reminiscent of the way my studio was laid out back in France. So I'm trying to kind of preserve a lot of like some of the same rituals and the same attitude. It's just in an environment that feels more like, I guess my point is that the main thing is not so much LA the city, it's more like being an independent adult. That's kind of the big change, is like having my own life in my own place and creating my own habits and my own memories, and so that's the big change ultimately. But I'm glad I picked LA. I do like it a lot.
Awesome. Well, thanks for doing this. Really appreciate you taking your time.
Guess I'm good to go now.
Yeah.
Okay. This is. I just want to say first of all, hi. I've been a bit of a fan of yours since 2018. And I have a quick question about genres, because I've noticed that you like to experiment with different genres and stuff. What other genres do you think you want to do in the future, if that makes some sort of sense?
Yeah.
Like the example being the evil edit you did for Shelter. That was more of a mid-tempo kind of res vibe, and I love it to death. Like, are you gonna try to do anything like that in the future?
Yeah, I don't. I tend to not really think about like genres prescriptively, like before making anything. I think more about like desire and function almost. So like I feel like um yeah, I feel pretty free in the studio. I don't think about I'm gonna make a house song, I'm gonna make this song. I kind of just make whatever. And I try to not really kind of limit myself too much. And occasionally, yeah, I'll have a very specific narrow idea, and then I'll follow that. But generally, I stay pretty open, and songs kind of change genre halfway through. Sometimes, like my song "All My Friends" started as a Adele-inspired piano ballad, tearjerker, and then it turned into like a funk disco song. So sometimes it just evolves over time. So I don't have like a list of things I want to do. I think I have more like vague concepts, like certain tempos or certain sonic traditions or instruments or things like that I feel like I want to explore, but not within necessarily the constraint of a specific genre. Maybe it'll be like, oh, I want to do a song that's like 140 BPM, and then who knows, maybe it'll be like a steady kind of almost psytrance-esque thing, or maybe it'll be something that a bit more like breakbeaty, or like it could be like that desire could materialize in completely different genres, and I try to not tell myself what it's going to be first. So I don't really know, but I do have a list of things that are like stuff to experiment with, certain like chord styles, certain instruments, certain textures. So I have a list of things, but I don't really think in terms of genres that much. So we'll see.
All right, cool. Thank you.
Thank you.
Nice talking with you.
Likewise. Hey. Hey, what's up?
Bardo, are you there? Hey, Cobot.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Perfect. Sorry. There we go. Put it on speaker. So I remember hearing your music back. I don't know. I think it was like 2010. I was in high school, and I was like, man, this is a pretty cool DJ. Let me look up some music on him. And on YouTube, I saw you were playing it on a launch pad, and I was like, wait, what? Like, this isn't just like a song that he just plays. Like, he's doing this live. This was really weird to me. I was like, this is crazy. So my question is, how do you remember like what button to pick next when you're doing like, these songs? I'm like, do you play like memory games? Like, how do you do this?
Damn, that's a good question. Yeah, I'm so glad that was your experience, because like that was kind of what I was going for when I made that video, like pop culture and the launchpad stuff, was that I wanted people to like feel the connection between the music they were hearing and like a performance, like movements of my hands and things like that. Kind of like when you see somebody play piano or play guitar, like you can connect their body movement, their hand movement to the music. And with DJ, sometimes it's a little too abstract. So I wanted to kind of like connect that. And so I'm glad that you thought it was cool. Yeah, pop culture is not that hard to play, to be honest. Like I feel like if we sat down together and I showed you how to play it, I think within like a couple of hours you could probably get pretty close. So it's not super hard. And it's kind of just muscle memory. It's just kind of like, I don't know. There's a lot of things that I do with my fingers. Like a lot of my hobbies involve like repetition of movements. So like yeah, as I mentioned before, I do a lot of magic. Like I'm literally playing with a deck of cards in my hands right now. It's just kind of something I do, kind of as like a fidgeting thing. And then when I was a kid, I would like do Rubik's cube and stuff like that. So a lot of my, and then obviously playing piano and things. So like a lot of my interest involve like memorizing sequences of movement with my fingers. So I guess that probably helped the launchpad stuff, but it's actually not as hard as you think. So you should try it sometimes.
On that same note, what made you want to start using a launch pad versus like any other instrument?
Yeah, specifically for that, like it's what I said is like because I thought that people would understand the movements better than other DJ tools, and I just had kind of this. I guess when I was a kid, I saw Daft Punk play live on their tour where they had the pyramid, and so it was such a cool show, but you couldn't see what they were actually doing. They were completely hidden inside the pyramid. And as a kid, I always wondered, like, what are they doing inside the pyramid? And I would like fantasize what I thought they were doing. And so with the Launchpad, I thought this is an instrument that looks like what I, when I was a kid, imagined Daft Punk would be doing up there. So let me show what's inside, you know. So that was kind of the selling points. Like I wanted to do a performance that resembled what my imagination was telling me as a kid when I saw Daft Punk. So that's kind of the premise.
That's super awesome. And like last second question. Is coffee in America really that bad compared to France? Because I just hear like French people talk trash on coffee. So
No, the coffee is good here. Actually, there's a great coffee culture. Italian people might disagree. It's like obviously French people love coffee, but it's not as hardcore as Italian people, I don't think. But the one thing that y'all are terrible at is cheese, though. To be honest, so that's the big thing. There's no good cheese in America, and then it's really tricky to get good pastries and good baguette and bakery stuff as well. But you can kind of find them. But like the one thing you absolutely cannot find is good cheese. There's just no amount of energy or money will get you good cheese in America. I think it's partly because some of the good cheese in France is literally illegal in America. It might be an urban legend, but I think there's something about like the amount of mold and stuff like that makes the cheese good that you're not allowed to do in America. So it might be the reason, but you're missing out. So yeah.
All right, so I guess it's my time to speak. Hi, Hugo.
Yeah.
Hello.
What's up? How you doing?
Hey, I'm so excited to be talking to you. It is like a dream come true for me. This is Angel from Mexico. I love your music. Your show Good Faith Live changed my life. 2019 at EDC. It was the last show before the pandemic. It was my last show before the pandemic.
At
It was such
EDC
a life.
at EDC
Yeah,
Mexico?
correct. It was
Yeah.
such
Oh
a
my
life
God.
changing moment.
Yeah, it was
And
one of my favorite shows ever.
yeah, the closer I was just crying the whole time, and yeah, it has inspired a lot in me, right? In the way I design, in the way I create my own work, right? And I have two questions about it. The first one is, would we ever get a lore, kind of like something official that talks us about and goes through the Good Faith Live and Good Faith Forever world, in the way of kind of like maybe a book? I mean, so something like a like a piece of writing that we can understand to kind of like immerse ourselves in the world of Good
Yeah, I
Faith.
mean, I have that document. You know, obviously, I have the secret Bible, which me and the architects all have, so we can do things that is like consistent law-wise. So that document exists, but I find that I think it's nice sometimes to leave a little bit of room for interpretation or for speculation. So I don't want to completely expose everything, but you know, maybe
Right.
eventually, you know, I want to close the chapter of good faith eventually and tie it with a bow, you know. So stay tuned, you know. I have some ideas for that, but yeah, yeah, uh,
Awesome.
yeah.
And yeah, my second question, right, is I saw a lot of the resources from your songs, especially All My Friends is a song that really touched me because I worked on a remix for it. Would we ever see something like official from you, or maybe kind of like a space where we can share our creations, like with your resources? Because we of course want to thank you for being so connected to us, so connected to the community in these times, specifically in these times. So we would, if we could ever see something like official from you, or if we could ever kind of like have some I don't know, space to share with you.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Let me think about that because one thing I'm grateful for with the Madeon community is that how many of the members of the community are like really talented and creative and like invested, and I check out a lot of it. You know, I check out most remixes that people make and fan arts, and I try to stay connected to that. And yeah, I think about that. Let me think. I think it'd be cool too. I mean, that was kind of
Awesome.
part of the premise with like the Good Faith Radio show as well, is
Yeah.
that I played and shared some of that work, but maybe there's more to do. Let me think. Thank you.
Yeah, I will love to for you to listen to my remix. Thank you very much, Madeon, and we will be waiting for you here in Mexico with open arms. Thank you.
Yeah, it's top of my list to return to. I mean, of the places top of my list. We had such a good time last time.
Hi, Madeon.
Hey, what's up?
Yeah, dude, thanks for coming to San Diego, and thanks for releasing Together on the Adventure Deluxe. It's so good.
Hell yeah.
I also just really quick wanted to tell you that when my aunt passed away, I was very sad. So what I did is I got a little MIDI keyboard and I sang Shelter at her funeral, and it was one of the most like
Oh my god,
magical moments of my life. It
Damn.
really helped me get over that, and I just wanted to thank you.
Thanks for sharing that. It means a lot to me. And
I know.
it's a song about family and transmission and things like that. I'm so proud and happy that it resonated with you and that it helped you connect. I'm so happy.
I guess I have a really quick question. What is your favorite Native Instruments plugin, if you use any?
Yeah, I don't really use their instruments that much anymore. I used to use Massive a little bit, but I mean I like Contact. I use Contact. It's kind of a go-to, and I like Monarch quite a bit, to be honest. But I haven't used them quite as much as I used to lately. But on stage we've just actually changed all the pianos to Contact ones, so I like some of their stuff there. But yeah, yeah. So mostly Contact, Monarch. Those are the main ones.
Yeah, thank you so much. Huge fan. I'm gonna have a nice day now. Thank you so much. Bye.
Awesome.
Bye.
Thank you very much. Good to meet you.
Hello, can you hear me?
Hey, what's up?
Hi, Hugo. Nice to meet you. I've seen your Good Faith show 3 times.
Whoa.
I saw 3 iterations of it. I saw it back in 2019 on the original tour,
Mhm.
and then I saw it at Second Sky, and then I saw it in DC for this tour run, and
Yeah.
I've enjoyed every single minute of that show. It's such a great show.
Thank you.
Yeah, I do have one question. So, yep, sorry, I'm nervous, but um, I really loved the little fireside acoustic set that you did for LA Gives Back,
Uh-huh.
and I was wondering if you were planning on continuing doing that sort of stuff because honestly hearing those songs in that format is it's really special to me, and it's honestly one of my favorite things that you've done because I love hearing those songs in that format.
Damn, thank you for saying that. I mean, that was a pretty low-key thing. I don't feel like that many people have seen it, but I'm so happy that you it means something to you because that was fun to make, but it was an interestingly kind of last minute thing. I have good memories though of putting this together, and I'm glad you like it. I don't have plans for things like that just yet, but I'd like to. I think it's fun to strip those songs back and keep it, make it about the lyrics, making about the song and the performance. And I think it's a fun challenge for me. So yeah, I'll keep that in mind. Maybe there's other ways that I wouldn't do that exact format again because I think that's definitely born from the pandemic circumstances, of shooting at home and keeping it very cozy and small. But maybe there's a new, different ways of doing that. I like recontextualizing songs and giving them multiple lives, where there's acoustic versions, live version, and remixes. And it's cool that some of those things I carry with me throughout my career and reinvent every few years. And so yeah, that's I think there'll be something like that again at some point for sure.
Yeah, just that's exactly hearing a song on an album and then going to a show and then hearing it in a completely different way. That's sorry if I'm talking too much. I'm just
No,
really
thank
Gilberto, are you there?
Hey there. Sorry,
Oh, hi.
Gilberto. Hey.
Oh, sorry.
Hey,
I'll
Sam.
give you a sec. Sorry, I just wanted to say I love your music so much. It inspired me to get into EDM. It's crazy talking to you right now,
Thank
and
you.
I just wanted to ask actually, um, is there any like specific like music or like OSTs or like movie soundtracks, video game soundtracks that like inspired your work or that you just really like in general?
Yeah, there's a bunch. I think that was meaningful to me. A lot of Japanese stuff, probably like Miyazaki movie soundtrack, stuff like the Castle in the Sky soundtrack always moved me deeply. Video game soundtracks, a lot of indie video games like Fez, and things like that. Fez specifically, I sampled an adventure actually on the song Pixel Empire. So those come to mind. The the Daft Punk soundtrack for Tron is also like obviously exceptional. And has some really interesting sound design elements that I think also found their way into adventure. The kind of bit crushed, big taiko drums type sensibility. I think probably I took some inspiration from that soundtrack now that I think about it. And then yeah, I think those are some of the key influences. And then I guess that's not really soundtracks anymore, but like Japanese pop from the like early tens is also like a big thing for me. So yeah.
Yeah, thank you. I find that stuff really inspirational to me, so it's really cool to hear your thoughts on that.
Thank you. And then one of my actually number one probably soundtrack influences Merry Christmas, Mr. Lawrence by Richie Sakamoto from Yellow Magic Orchestra. So that would be, yeah, I think you can tell if you listen to it like just how influential that was to me.
Yeah, that one's incredible. I love that one.
Thank you so much.
Hello. I don't have a mic, so sorry if the quality is a bit off, but hello.
No, you're sounding great.
I have two questions. One, what's your favorite food? And another one is like, how involved are you with like the in-jokes part of the Madeon community, and like what are some of your favorite in-jokes in the community?
Okay, well, with food, I don't know. It's I guess you can't go wrong with like it's interesting because like I love great food, but it's like not a huge part of life for me. So I'm not like super passionate about food, weirdly. Like I feel like maybe later in life I'll have a food phase, but for now it's kind of like practical. So I do love like sushi and sandwiches and like pasta. I mean, it's a pretty boring answer. I surprisingly don't like pizza very much, but apart from that, like I'm pretty middle of the road. And then with the in jokes, I think to be honest, like I tried. It's an interesting thing because like how I always think about like fan experience, and I think part of creating like a good like fan community is like you want to be involved, but you also want to have like enough distance that it doesn't look like you're like supervising everything, like and so I try to not check in so much or like understand everything or understand every in joke because then it kind of takes the fun away almost, I assume. So I just want to like have like live a little bit of mystery, a little bit of space for fans to like have their own thing going on. That's not just um like a direct conversation with me. You know what I mean? So like I've seen some of the in jokes and some of it I just don't understand, and I'm like kind of happy about that. I'm like, okay, like that's their thing, and I'm just gonna go along with it, but I don't get it, and it's part of the magic and the fun of it. It's like there's something that emerges like beyond me. It's not just like me talking unit literally to you guys. It's also like the community then like creating their own things and having their own like culture, like that's like an offshoot of what I've created. And so yes, I know some stuff, but I'm like trying to keep a bit of mystery, if that makes sense. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello?
What up?
Not much. Well, the question I had to ask as someone who has struggled with anxiety in the past, how do you keep your composure during Good Faith Forever? Like all the lights and all the loud music, I feel like that would get to me if I were doing it.
So you'd be surprised, first of all, that like the experience on stage is not what you expect. Like the being on stage during that show is not anything like watching it. So for example, the stage on set, sorry, the on stage it's completely silent. We don't have speakers. So and I'm behind the loudspeakers, so it's actually like very quiet on stage. And I have what's called in-ear monitors, which are like little like specifically molded little tiny like speakers, like earbuds in my ear that is linked to a like wireless pack that I can control the volume of. So I can actually completely control if the music is loud or not. And traditionally, I have it quite loud when I'm singing, and when there's like extended sections that are like just kind of instrumental to give my ears a rest, it's actually like I put it down, and it's actually much quieter for me. The show is very quiet for me compared to the audience. And the volume changes throughout for me, so I can give my ear a rest. So sometimes it's a little bit more calming than you would expect. I also hear a very different mix from you guys. Like I hear my vocals without any effects. I hear like a click, like a metronome throughout. I hear things with different volumes. So like my experience of the show is completely designed for me to be able to deliver a good performance, but pretty removed from what it looks like out there. And I'm also like standing in front of the screen, so I don't actually see the screen and the big like flashing visuals. So I have to memorize all of them so I can interact with them. But I don't really see it. And when it comes to lights, similarly, like the lights are usually facing away from me. There's only two lights that are frequently pointed at me, and they're usually quite subtle. So the show is like such a different experience from my point of view than from you guys. So I feel like that kind of makes it a little bit less like overwhelming in some ways to be in the middle of. Like it feels kind of cozy, weirdly, because I'm in my little like zone with my two tables and stuff like that. So it's feels familiar, and like, so I guess I feel really comfortable. And I'm also lucky that when I started my career as a musician, the first few shows when I was much younger, I would get like what I now realize were like panic attacks, like before going on stage. And thankfully I managed to adapt. And for the past like 10 years of touring now, I haven't really had any issue with anxiety on stage. I have issues with anxiety in other settings, but weirdly enough, like being in front of a crowd is not inherently scary to me anymore. Just I think it just comes with doing it a lot. And so I'm not really scared of that setting anymore. I'll get anxious about something going wrong technically, but while I'm on stage, it's pure adrenaline and fun and joy. And it's not sensorially, it's less overwhelming maybe from my point of view than we might expect. And then emotionally, thankfully, I just feel like experience helped me. Another final, this is a very long answer, but the final example I'll say of that about that is, for the lift sequence when I'm up in the air for the encore, the first time I tried it at rehearsals with the lift, I was only like 7 feet up in the air, and I was terrified I had vertigo, and I was like, "There's no way I'm going to be able to do this." But then, as soon as we tried it again with music in my ears and me singing and stuff like that, then I was not scared at all anymore. And it could put me like 20 feet up in the air, and I didn't care at all. And all of the stress went away, all of the nervousness. So, and even being in front of a crowd and being up in the air and like all of those things that should be terribly scary, in the context of doing a show and having music in my ears and performing, somehow all that fear goes away. Even though like I'm usually a pretty easily scared person, like I don't go on roller coasters and things like that, and yet being like 20 feet up in the air on like a tiny little stick is not scary if it's in the context of the show. So I think it's just a magic to performing something you're passionate about. So that's my experience. But so yeah. But thanks for your concerns.
Oh, you're welcome. That's actually really eye-opening. I have one little quick question. Someone wanted me to ask, what's your favorite flavor of tea?
I drink green tea, like Japanese green tea. And yeah, so that's what I drink. It's I buy it from a place called Tikuno. So there you go. Am I still connected? Let's see. Check. I feel like.
Are you there?
Check. Hey, Calcium.
Hello, can you hear me?
I can. How you doing?
Hi. And it's very good to meet you, Hugo.
Great to meet you.
Yeah, same. My name is Jared, and and like I've been a fan of you. I think I with Porter Robinson on the internet, and like I've been like an Omega fan ever since.
Damn,
And
thank you.
yeah, one of my questions is what is your the lore of Good Faith? It feels so intricate. It's like with the army, like all the clones. Like you've added so much. You've made so much. How do I say it? It
Yep.
seems so intricate and detailed, and like I was wondering what were I don't. I'm not going to ask about the lore directly, but what are your main inspirations for Good Faith? I know you have like a lot of inspiration from like maybe the ancient Rome or ancient Greece. I'm not sure, like with Daedalus and everything. And yeah, that's my question.
I mean, yeah, the story inspiration, as I mentioned before, is very much inspired by my life and my experience, especially around what happened in my life around 2018 and things like that. So that's kind of the starting point, and then with the way that we visualize and express it, I tried. I think it's funny because I can't almost quite articulate it too precisely, but I have just a feeling for when it feels right, like when it feels like good faith content and good faith characters. It's something that's not quite futuristic, not quite ancient, not quite. It just there's just a flavor where I see it and I know it's right, and references that I pull that come from various different sources that we and often it just comes from things from my childhood, like movies that I saw in France and on things like that. I just left a big mark. But yeah, I think it's just like it's almost like I have a thermometer and I can see anything and see if it's like close or far from like the good faith vibe. And I almost don't need to explain it or like create adjectives or try to characterize it. I just know when it's right. You know what I mean? And hopefully it adds up to something that has like a coherent like kind of thread, to it. But I should probably sit down and observe like what we've created and try to unpack exactly what ties it all together, like because even like little details, you have to ask yourself those questions all the time. Like when we were styling the characters for the video shoot for the content, we like the shoes, like figuring out what shoes they were going to wear was like a big problem, like a big question, like because you don't want it to be too futuristic or too ancient or too contemporary. And so there's like circling that vibe is an interesting challenge. But yeah, so yeah, I'm not sure if I'm really answering your question. It's just kind of like an intuition, like it's just kind of like a feeling, and it kind of something emerges, And I'm sure just all the inspiration comes from like things I've seen and that I've loved from throughout my life. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Shout outs from Chile, or Chile,
Yeah.
and yeah, very nice to meet you.
Great to meet you. Thank you so much.
Am I
Hey
coming
there.
through? Am I coming through?
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, before I get to my question, I have to say this. Thank you so much for putting Cut the Kid in this year's version of the live show. That song means so much to me, and when I saw it live, it was so exhilarating. Thank you.
Oh, I'm so glad. By the way, I don't wait. You were not at Ultra by any chance, right?
No, I wasn't there.
Okay, good, because you know what happened at Ultra? I had a technical difficulty where all of the Cut the Kid elements were muted. So I was so sad because I that was the one show of the year where Cut the Kid was absent. It was a technical issue. But it'll be back. If you're coming to any other show, it'll be back.
Awesome. Okay, now my question. Let me. Okay, so you recently dropped a Hypermania live video on YouTube, and I thought that was a great representation of the show and of that song specifically. And I saw that you edited it yourself. And I was wondering what was the mentality and what was your process for putting that footage together into that video?
Yeah, I've been doing video editing since pretty recently, like since 2019, and I really enjoy it whenever I get to do it, and so it's fun whenever I have the opportunity. And I don't think I'm like like a experienced editor, but I only edit Madeon related stuff, and I'm good at knowing what feels right for Madeon specifically. So sometimes it's a little bit quicker to do the edit myself rather than do a lot of back and forth with people to try to get them to pick the right things. And like so yeah, so my strategy for this was like because we shot this, I had the idea of shooting this like literally 2 days before the show. We found a video team at the very last minute to come in and film the show and film that footage. And they nailed it. I was so impressed with the footage they got. But still, it wasn't like completely perfect, like as if we had like multiple takes or multiple days. So I still had a lot of the editing choices were kind of made around hiding little problems with the footage, like in things that were a little blurry or things that were a little like so I had to kind of make decisions sometimes based on what the footage was giving me. But most of it looked great. Like it was shot by Butter Creations. They did an incredible job. And but I think I decided to actually lean on into the close-ups the most, because I felt like that was a unique angle you've never seen of the show before, and it captures something about my presence and my kind of like attitude on stage. I think you can really tell just how determined and how like into the show I am. I really get into character in my mind when I do the show, and I feel like that close-up footage really like captured that. And I really wanted to show those angles the most. But yeah, so that was kind of the thought process, and I'm glad you liked it. Yeah, I thought it was pretty fun to put together. And then yeah, some of the, and then there were like little VFX like compositing stuff that I did that hopefully nobody noticed. Like for example, the camera was slightly off axis, so for like when the pillar opens behind me, I was not centered on the footage. So part of like the work I had to do was like composite it so that to like isolate my body and then do like and then move me back in the middle, like things like that. So for that sequence, so it's a little tricks and tweaks and stuff like that. But yeah, generally it was mostly just showing off the great footage that Brother Creations did. It wasn't anything crazy. It's just a fun hobby for me, to be honest. It's just fun to get a reason to do some editing, because it's like a fun activity when you do it in moderation. So yeah.
Thank you.
Hey, check. What's up, Hugh Danesis? Hey there.
Oh wow, sorry, 1 second. My phone, the audio has gone off speakerphone.
Sounds pretty good though.
Oh really? Great, that's good to
Mhm.
hear. Wow, it's pretty cool to be here and pretty cool to talk to you. Like,
likewise.
Awesome. I've been part of the whole Madeon fan base for a while. Like, I think I discovered it in quite a unique way. Back in like 2016, 2017, I was really into the show Steven Universe, and there was this little subculture on YouTube of people who would do like edits of the show to music, and I believe I discovered Adventure through an edit of OK to one of the characters, and I was like super impressed with how the song sounded, and I just got into it from there, and here I am now. I didn't think it'd lead me down this path. I'm one of the people on Madeon News. I mod for Madeon Chord.
Oh, is it the Steven Universe of MV OK Pearl tribute?
Yep.
That's the one. Oh yeah, that's a couple million views. That's crazy. Thanks for making it.
Oh, I didn't make it. I was part of the
Oh,
like
you
little
found...
I found it.
Sorry,
I
I
found it.
misunderstood. You found it. Okay, yeah. Sorry. No, well, whoever made it, good on them, and I'm glad that you found it, and I'm glad that thanks for being a part of the team now for Madeon News.
I love it. There's so much that you've put out there for us to like look into and examine and explore, and I really appreciate it as a fan. Like,
thank you.
You put so much care into the fan base, and it's lovely. So my question today is, how do you stay disciplined as an artist? Because like I'm an aspiring artist as well. Like I do a lot of visual art. I want to get into music at some point. I do filmmaking, but oftentimes I find it very difficult to stay motivated and to stay kind of like engaged with what I'm doing. Like I find that I'm jumping around between projects so much, and to such a point that I never get anything like substantial done.
I think discipline is really tricky, and I'm still trying to figure it out myself. I think hard deadlines help the most sometime. Yeah, I tried different methods throughout the years, and I find that sometimes just forcing myself to create, even with the intention of making something bad, is a good way to get started. But I do find that, like, especially earlier in life, I got addicted to things that were complete. and that had a physical presence like that, because my interest was in creating physical objects. Like a lot of my hobbies as a child involved like writing books for the purpose of like printing it and having a little book that I could put on my shelf, or designing a board game and then printing it. And so anything that involves printing and creating something physical taught me commitment to some with versioning and digital files sometimes, that you don't have like as much of an incentive to exist in this like elusive thing. So I think like trying to like get addicted to the joy of something being like finished and uploaded and out there, and finding the equivalent to that, making it a reality feeling, is gonna naturally then help you, crave it more and more, and complete things maybe like more often. So that's kind of, that's what comes to mind.
Yeah, I totally feel that. I have like this one little dream of making like this micro album EP type thing and putting it on mini disc, which is a pretty obscure format.
Yeah, that's
just
a
because
great idea. Yeah, but and see, that's a
because I
great
love
idea
mini
because
disc.
because if you ever want to have this mini disc, you're gonna need to at some point say, hey, this.
We're a little bit curious about the runes in Zine 1, Good Faith Zine 1. For a long time, they've been like a really enduring mystery in the fandom, and I understand if you want to keep that a mystery. Like, we've had a lot of fun going through and trying to find patterns in different languages and like secret words. It's just been this like ongoing effort to see if we can get literally anything at all from them. And I was wondering, like, I guess not if there's anything hidden in there, but like, what are they supposed to be? I guess.
All will be revealed.
Ooh, okay, I see.
Just wait,
Well, I look
wait for
forward
it.
to it.
It'll all tie together in the end, in the grand ending.
I see where you're going with this. All right, thank you so much for talking to me today.
Thank you very much.
Great experience to like finally talk to you. Anyway,
Likewise.
have a great day.
Hey Jameson, would it be? I would love to do this like all day. I didn't really get to sleep very much last night, so I'm feeling a little like delirious. I would love to do one final question, if that's okay.
Yeah, no, totally get it.
I forgot how long we were scheduled for though. Like if we were scheduled for a lot more, I can stay.
I think it depends. If you need to get some rest, I think that's always something nice to focus
Okay,
on.
let's do two more questions. Hey Madro.
Awesome.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Oh my God, this is crazy. So I'm actually gonna be at Coachella, believe it or not, on
Amazing.
the second weekend, and this is gonna be the third time I'm gonna be seeing the show. So it's gonna be quite a wild experience. Yeah. So I'm just exhilarated right now, to be honest with you. I didn't think I'd get in. I heard there was one more question. So my honest question is that do you think that there's going to be any time that you're going to have in between all these festivals and shows coming up that you're going to be able to like just enjoy the grounds of Coachella? I mean, it seems like it's quite a magical place. I know you played there before, and I've never been there.
Yeah, so
kind of been looking.
So you cut out for a bit, but if I got the question, I won't be able to see pretty much anything on weekend one because I have a different show on Saturday. So I'm only gonna do my show, and then I might like stick around and watch some of the other acts like after me, but like not that's not a lot of time. So I'm just getting to enjoy just a tiny bit of the festival on weekend one. But weekend two, I'm actually coming with my friends and family. Then I'm flying from France and everything. So we're gonna enjoy the full festival like properly, and I'm gonna get to watch everything. So my Coachella is gonna be weekend two,
That's
as well.
amazing.
So I'm gonna be
That's our
and
weekend as well.
yeah, I already have a whole schedule of who I want to see and things like that. So I'm pretty pumped, man. Like Coachella is the only festival that I go to even when I'm not playing.
Really? Oh
yeah,
my God.
I love it so much. I come every year. So I yeah.
We're actually, we're plotting out who we're planning on seeing as well. Stromae is high on our list.
Yeah, for
Swedish
sure,
House
right?
Mafia and the Weekend show is
Mm-hmm.
super high on our list.
Yeah, that's gonna be
Um,
dope. And I'm glad you're considering checking out my show again. It's gonna be like a pretty special version of it, I think. So I hope you
to
get
be
to
to
see
be
it.
quite honest with you, Hugo, it was between you and Kanye were the two biggest names on our list, and I'm actually
Oh,
bringing somebody who's
incredible.
never seen the show before, so he's going to have a first time experience watching Good Faith in its probably most pristine version to this point. I hope.
Yeah. Hell yeah. I hope they like it. You know, like that seems awesome.
I know
Yeah.
we're going to
Well,
try
see
and
you see you on
camp
the ground.
whatever stage, yeah, whatever stage you're at. We're going to try and camp it as soon as we
Mhm.
can.
Yeah.
And that works.
Thank you.
All right, Jabardo, let's try to make this happen. Your mic. Let's see. But thank you so much for being here, Hugo, and
Of
spending your time
course.
with us.
Damn, Jarbata has been with us 3 times and we couldn't quite make it work, but hopefully next time. I feel bad. I have time for a final question, I think, and I'm gonna get a little bit of a nap because I'm. But if you can pick somebody for a final question and then we can wrap it up.
Well, let's see. One sec.
Hello?
Hey.
Hi, how's it going?
Pretty good. How about you?
I've been doing great. Yeah, it's been a pretty cool day. My Adventure Deluxe final actually literally just arrived when I got home from work, which is cool.
Oh hell yeah! Do you like
Yeah.
it? Have you opened it?
Yeah, it's super sick, and I've been loving it.
I think it took a while to like put together, and so I'm so glad people are getting their hands on it. You know, I've been waiting for this moment for a while, so thanks for getting it.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I'm a huge fan. I've been kind of listening to your music since like when I was in middle school and I first heard Technicolor. And my first concert ever was Good Faith Live at the Shrine in 2019.
Oh,
And
sick!
yeah, and also it's kind of funny because like that was my last show before all COVID had happened, and then my first show after everything started opening back up was the Roxy DJ set show, which do you do a lot of pre-planning, like for when you come up with some of the transitions or mashups, or is it kind of all just on the fly that you
Yeah,
discover?
so for DJ sets, and to clarify for people listening, I feel like everybody knows, but like the Coachella set is not a DJ set; it's like a live show, right? But when I do DJ sets, it's pretty improvised, to be honest. Like I tend there's a few routines that I'll just like have done once on stage, I like, and so I'll do it again. So I have a few things that I'll just land back on my feet on, but usually it's like pretty much totally improvised. But the way that I play with using Ableton, so like everything is automatically synced and everything's organized by key and stuff, so it's pretty easy, it's pretty safe, you know, it's not nothing crazy. But I find it way more fun having to solve the puzzle of making a good mix like with the energy of the crowd rather than pre-planning it. I would be very bored if I just played it like a prepared set.
Mm-hmm.
So it kind of feels like playing a video game, like playing something like Sonic or Tony Hawk Pro Skater or a racing game or something. You know, when you get into the flow and like you're making like risky turns and like you feel confident and like you go really fast and like you feel like you know it by heart and it's just a flow. DJing feels a little bit like that, where I need to be like quick on my feet and I'll play, and all my edits are really short. So usually when I start a song, I have like maybe 25 seconds to like decide on what my next transition, and I like that. I like that pressure of like, and sometimes I like I'm kind of hesitating and I can see the song is about to end and I'm still like trying to figure something out, and that stress is actually very fun, and it feels like playing a video game that I've good practice at. It feels like, you know, I've gotten some good practice of doing that type of set, so now I just love that element of risk, you know. And I feel like if I didn't do that, I would not enjoy DJing quite as much as I do right now. So yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I'm super excited to watch the stream of Good Faith Forever for Coachella.
Sweet. Thank you so much. Thanks everybody. You are all so nice and I like great questions and it was super super refreshing. So yeah, thanks for hosting this. Coachella team, Jameson, Dylan, everybody. I really appreciate it. I'm gonna get take a nap, I think now. But I'm feeling like super pumped and full of love right now. So I'm grateful for everybody we came here and checked it out tonight.
The feeling is mutual. This is actually our first voice chat AMA on
Oh,
the
cool.
channel with an artist.
It's a
So
good format. I think you're doing another one with my friends from With the Child soon, right?
yeah, tomorrow at 3. If
Oh, that's
yeah,
incredible.
everyone
Yeah.
mark your
I hope you
calendar.
get to do plenty more because it's a really fun format, and I've never done anything quite like this before. And I think like people on Discord especially tend to be like super like invested, and so the quality of question and the degree of like detail of the question was pretty high. So that was super fun.
Well, we'll have you anytime you want to come and chat with us.
Sweet. Well, thank you so much, everybody. Have a great rest of your evening, and I'll see you on the polo field.
Cool. See you at Coachella.
Bye bye. Good night.
Bye.